I think dance is important to the world because it's a universal language. So you're transcending the boundary of spoken word.
The islands are separate in their physicality, but so connected in their energy and in their culture. It's so similar.
My name is Celia Grannum. I'm a Barbadian. I'm a dancer, a choreographer, a teacher, an artist, and I'm in Barbados this week for a project called GiveBack. This first stage is called Barbados BeMoved. And my colleague Kris, Jobson, and I are in Barbados to move you.
The world's in need of not only verbal truth, you have to demonstrate it. And when you demonstrate your truth, it comes through your body. It's embodiment. And once you can actually mind, body, spirit, be in alignment, what you say, what you think, what you do, dance is a wonderful way for me to really embody that truth. Hi, I'm Kris Jobson. I am Jamaican, first and foremost. I am an artist. I'm a dancer, creator, an actor, a singer, a writer, creative type. Give Back is an initiative from the heart from me and Celia Grannum for us to connect our Caribbean people, like ourselves, outside of the region, in the diaspora, and to reconnect ourselves with our folk back home, with the people in the region, and to have that continuous flow back and forth of knowing who we are, knowing what we are, knowing what we've learned, what we've gleaned, what we've garnered from our journeys, both at home and away, and to bring it back and to pull it together and to take our Caribbean experience on all levels to the next level.
When I'm in a dance class or I'm choreographing, it's the music that sort of opens this channel inside of me. And as a choreographer, I start from a musical place, so I can hear a piece of music and then I start to see choreography. So it's the music that makes me dance, that calls me to dance.
My name is Stephanie Takei Taylor, and I'm originally from Los Angeles in New York, and I've been living in Barbados for the last 9 years, and I am a ballet teacher at BCC and at UE. It's just nice to be reminded of my own bad habits. I feel like I'm, and you maybe yourself are always kind of showing when things go wrong, and it's nice to be able to then relax and go, oh yeah, that's actually my bad habit, and that's something that I need to correct, and maybe a different way to tune into it.
Here, I continuously talk to dancers about the possibilities, where they can be, where they can go, how successful they are, because we have a plethora of talent in Barbados. That's a given. My name is Alicia Payne Hurley. I'm the Cultural Officer for Dance at the National Cultural Foundation here in Barbados. My role is to ensure that dance continuously develops on the island and that dancers are offered as many opportunities as we can provide. My responsibilities include the administration of many of the projects and workshops that are rolled out by the National Cultural Foundation for dancers.
It's such a blessing every day just to be able to dance, just to be coming into the studio and having such a great space like NCF.
In this first movement, this first project, GiveBack Barbados, Kris, Jobson, and myself have come to Barbados, and we've run a series of workshops with the dance and the modeling community.
Having two teachers really made the entire experience a very different one than I've ever had before. Because it's always usually one teacher, but because there were two, it's almost like the room got cut in half and you could have more time focusing with someone else while doing the exercise.
Their feedback was more so of narrative and having a clear narrative in your head and the subtext that you have for all the movements that you do.
My name is Kamal Nosakere, and I'm here taking the first year BCC program, and I'm also doing the workshop with Kris and Celia.
Hi, my name is Salim Small, and I'm a third year at UB Dance program, and I'm also here taking a workshop with Kris and Celia.
It's been really great because you're able to take what seasoned dancers would say and get their input on even things that you might not make important when you're first doing it, and then they go, this stood out to me or didn't stand out to me, why didn't it stand out to me? And then you get to take that and you can say, I can put importance to this.
It was really nice to have a guy's perspective for the partnering. I think it's difficult for me to go in and try and maneuver Salim or even Kamal around and try and pretend like I am 10 inches taller and explain it so that they can actually feel it. It's so nice that you actually got to go in there and lift them and say, this is how it feels and this is that connection. And
It made the whole class fun. I made it enjoyable. Kind of like shed light to that dance class doesn't have to be so serious. Because when it's serious, it starts to be like, you do this, and then it's lose the fun.
You bring the pubic bone forward, but with no tension from the back. Do it for yourself.
I guess I first started to dance when I was 4 years old. You know, you get sent to ballet like everybody else does, and I enjoyed it. Kris and Celia bring a youthfulness to the dance classroom, and they have, their terminology is fresh and their imagery is different to mine, because when you're teaching children, you always want many, many images. Everybody doesn't get the same image. When I see another human being moving their body, I have a visceral reaction. So you're moving and I'm moving. And it doesn't matter what words are coming out of your mouth. Your body is talking to me, and I receive that communication. I am Louise Woodbine, and we're here at the Louise Woodbine Dance Academy in Upton, St. Michael, Barbados.
So they had this one particular example where they said, Friday night jeans, you got to put on your Friday night jeans. And they zipped it up, and that was how they taught the kids to just lift from the front and center their pelvis.
I see myself in them in some part, because for me, I want to go out in the world, become the professional, and then come back to home and give back to the people who gave to me.
Being back in the Caribbean has come in full circle for me. I feel like I've really closed the circle of the young man who had to go and seek, and I've closed that circle and I've begun a new cycle of the man who's come back to share his home. And Barbados for me is home in this region. I feel so alive and in tune with this energy here.
Hi, my name is Rochelle. I'm a dancer and teacher. Celia and Kris had helped me to realize there are different parts of my body that I can activate instead of using the other parts of my body which I used to use before, which can be said to be wrong, but it doesn't make the dance look as strong or as powerful as what they can make it be.
But I want to come to a place of complete relaxation. You might need to tie your knees together with like a piece with TheraBand or whatever, a tie, so that you're not using your muscles at all. And then walking awareness through body, encouraging those places of tension to relax, encouraging the old patterns to release and go away.
She always connects once she's here and always offers to help, and we absolutely love her energy. She gets a motivation out of the kids, and they really, you can see in the last 2 days, I could see the light in their eyes as they got what she was talking about. So yeah, she's an inspiration.
Everybody we've met in the studio has been receptive to every bit of information that we've shared. They have been willing and open and capable and stretched themselves beyond their limits. Every time I said, try this, they tried it. Every time I said, try this, they tried it. Every time we said, try this, they tried it. They've come with us on the most amazing journey.
I love my job because it allows me to see the continuous development and ensures that, you know, long after me, that dance is still happening and still growing and still vibrant in Barbados.
Okay, so just put that on your radar now as 2 different points of reference. When you're standing in first, there's an open tendu that's here. When you're standing in fifth, the tendu is crossed. Can you see the different places that I was in my body? Just play with that for yourself.
Because of the way that they taught, you could tell it's coming from such an honest background that the kids didn't feel insecure and they weren't nervous to do the weird stuff.
Put it down and one tendu. Inside leg, coupe, put it down and one tendu. 2 coupe passe, 1, 2, and tendu goes in, out, back to the second.
My name is Megan Navarro and I am in Barbados. This is my school I established 2 years ago. It's called Powerhouse Studios.
They push me, they pull me, they took all my money. I need to find a way to left. They push me, they pull me,
I go, yeah, ha. So the odd thing is this, on this side. I've been molded by my parents, by my region. The region of the Caribbean for me is an expansive region. Little islands dotted across, but these islands affect the world in ways that we can all understand. Food, culture, music, it ripples and it specks across the world in wonderful ways. So these islands are tiny, but in their impact they're huge.
And I came up with the name Powerhouse because I really wanted to work on children and developing little powerhouses. So when they start with me dancing at the age of 3 and they leave at about 17 or 18, they're entering the world as powerful people.
We spent 20 plus years working in the US and in Europe, and giving of ourselves, growing, obviously experiencing, but giving of ourselves in all these other corners of the world. And then he said, let's go home, it's time to go home. And I said, yes, that's how I feel, let's go home.
So this is what dance teaches us, but my school is about this, teaching about everything in life. Team spirit, commitment, time management, just being an individual.
And I said, I have a flashback of literally Jamaica. The islands are separate in their physicality, but so connected in their energy and in their culture. It's so similar. And I've been nourished and filled up in a wonderful way of all the similarities here that have reignited me in new ways that I have not gotten from my travels across the world.
So I received a Barbados scholarship in 1995. And as part of the contract that you enter into when you are a scholarship recipient, you agree to return to Barbados for the number of years which you have been studying abroad. So my BFA was an accelerated BFA. It was 3 years long. So in theory, I owed the Barbados government 3 years of my time as a working adult. I worked in New York for a year after I graduated, and then was about to sort of do a dream job, a musical, and my visa got messed up. And so I had to come back home. I started teaching and working, and it was during this time that I met Rochelle Springer. She... Rochelle Springer is a Barbadian dance icon. She excelled in her professional career as a dancer in France and all over Europe, and then became a much sought after teacher in several companies all over Europe. When I first met Rochelle, I didn't really understand the impact she'd had on the dance community in Barbados, but then also in Europe. And when I moved to Paris for a few months, I left Barbados and I went through London, moved to Paris, and Rochelle took me under her wing and introduced me to dancers and choreographers all over Europe with whom she had worked. And it was as I developed those relationships that I began to understand who she really was and how important she was to people, and how some of the most well-known names in the contemporary dance world in Europe, especially in France, for them, she was the go-to teacher. She was the person who would travel with them when they were on tour and teach company class. For the dancers, she was not just a company teacher. She was a mother, a godmother, an aunt. She was a lady. Rochelle was, regardless of the career and the reputation that preceded her, she was so humble and beautiful, So over the years, of visiting Paris and working as a dancer, but then having her as a bit of an anchor for myself and my family whenever we went through Paris, I really began to understand who she was as a person and as an energy. A true artist never stops. You live your art. And Rochelle never stopped. And so, yeah, she was still working, and we met her in Paris last year. And she didn't age, you know. Rochelle looked the same every year. And a friend messaged me to let me know that she died, and it was such a shock because she was one of those people you just assumed would live forever. And I think her passing was such a wake-up call for me. When I heard that she died, I was teaching the next day and no one came to class. And I just put some music on and I started to dance. And I realized that I wasn't finished dancing yet, and I wasn't finished giving yet. And so her passing was an inspiration for this project for me, because I realized that I had been gone too long, and that I needed to come back because of it. I feel I owe this to her, to come back home and share all that I have experienced, all of my knowledge, all of my skills, my art with my home, with our home. So yeah, so this is for Rochelle.
The National Cultural Foundation and the Dancers of Barbados, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Celia, we're absolutely proud of you and everything that you've done for Barbados. You're an ambassador to be proud of, and just continue working and we'll see more of you.
I would like to thank Celia and Kris for coming down. It's been a fabulous week, and thank you, GiveBack Barbados.
I've really enjoyed having both Kris and Celia here. Celia is one of the children of the LWDA, and we always welcome them home, and I hope we'll be doing this on a regular basis. Thank you so much. Bye.
I'd like to thank Celia and Kris so much for coming to Barbados, for they have impacted my life on a greater level, and I am really grateful for everything they have given to me, and I pray and I hope that I take it and let it manifest into something bigger than myself. So really thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Like, it's been such an amazing and always humbling experience. Thank you, Kris and Celia, for giving so much every single day. It's been amazing.
Goodbye, Kris and Celia. We shall see you next time. No.
It's been humbling for me. It's a bit emotional too. I'll take a moment just to gather myself. It's been a real beautiful exchange. And to share my art form with those who are not only willing for it, but respect it, understand its value.